Hi, I'm Skip Kendall. I spent over 20 years on the PGA Tour and developed one of the best short games in the world. Now I'm coaching, and I'm excited to tell you about a trainer that I just came across. It's called the PUR Truth Trainer and Prepare, and it's one of the best things that I've come across in a long, long time. It really helps my session one of my putting system called block practice because it's an all-in-one. That's what I love about it, and I'm going to show you about it all today. All right, I have Gunnar Green with me here. Gunnar, we've been working together now for probably a couple of years, I think.
Yeah,
right before
like 2 years.
we started, kind of a newbie, to the game. You kind of started late. I have the privilege of knowing your father, Damon Green, who has been someone that is a great player himself, caddying on the PGA Tour for Scott Hoke, Zach Johnson, among other great players, and has done really well out there being a caddy, and he's one of the best caddies that has ever been out there. So it's amazing to me when people think that they're aligned square to where they actually want to hit the putt with their putter. Just the slightest opening or closing of the putter is going to make a huge difference on getting your ball started on line. The great thing about this trainer is that you have this ball pad, number one, where you can use the back of the ball pad to line your face up square and flush against that. You know for sure that your putter is lined up perfectly. Or you also have the blue line. If you have a sight line on your putter, Gunnar happens to have this white line right here. He wouldn't be able to see, if he's lining up perfectly, he wouldn't be able to see that white line because the blue string masks that blue line. You cannot see it. So there's two ways that this Truth Trainer lines up your putter, so you know and have all the confidence in the world that it's perfect and it's you're aligned perfectly. In this instance, I'm going to have Gunnar here actually turn his putter, let's say 1 degree open. So if this ball pad wasn't here, you would not be able to see that. So I can tell that his putter right now by his sight line, but if he's looking straight down, he can actually see that his putter is not flush to the ball pad itself. So you would be able to tell that your putter is open, even the very slightest. Everything makes just the slightest difference can be a missed putt. So now you're making sure, Gunnar would be sure that his putter is now aligned if you're flush to that ball pad. Just that slight movement of 1 degree open is going to cause the ball to miss to the right. So it's a great thing, great tool to have here. This ball pad is awesome. The ball pad where you set the ball down to every time, we can actually make this more challenging or less challenging for a beginner. So we would put the ball pad a little bit closer to the front gate to make it a little bit less challenging. And as we move the ball pad back, it gets a little bit more challenging. There's a bigger space between that and the gate, so it gets a little more challenging. So Gunnar, I'm going to move the ball pad back just a little bit further.
All right.
I know you got it through on the first one, no problem. But we're going to move it back so it's about halfway in the trainer itself. Now to get it through those gates, he's got about a 1.5 feet or so. It's going to be a little bit more challenging for him. So Gunnar and I did work together yesterday, and one of the things that we worked on, one of the things that he might have been struggling with a little bit was actually lining. You just started actually putting a line on your golf ball.
Yeah.
Which you said actually was really helpful.
Yeah, it's really helped.
But one of the things you were struggling with yesterday was lining your putter up to the line on the golf ball. You felt like it was a little bit off. When it was on, you said, "Oh my God, I can make it every time."
Yeah.
But I think this is a great tool right here to make sure that everything's lined up correctly. First of all, on the ball pad, you shouldn't be able to see the line on your ball.
Yeah.
But also on the back, your sight lines on your putter.
Yeah.
You know that they're lined up perfectly when you don't see those, by the strings here.
Yep.
So this is a great tool for that.
Yep.
And it got really good yesterday because of this device. I know you were struggling a little bit with that. Now I know it's like from back here, it's spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels way better now.
It's perfect right there. Also, this ball pad is a great thing here. There's a lot of people, when they first get in here, they actually hit the ball pad. Not a good thing. That means that you're actually hitting down on the ball. Your arc is going way up too high, and it's coming straight down, and it actually hits this ball pad. Not a good thing. You should not hit that ball pad at all. So you know automatically that the putter is coming up way too high. So Gunnar, go ahead. I know it's lined up perfectly square, but go ahead and make a stroke to where you actually hit down and hit that ball pad before you hit the ball. So obviously you saw his putter hit the back of the ball pad there. It moved. The ball actually rolled pretty well and went in the hole, but not a good stroke, not what you want to be doing. It actually pushes the ball down into the ground. So that's just another thing that this Truth Trainer does. If you're hitting the back of that ball pad, you know that something is going on in your stroke. Putter's coming way up too high. coming straight down on it and you're pushing the ball into the ground, which is not something that we want to do in our stroke. So we went from starting from right here, which would be a much easier, shorter distance to the gates to get it through the truth gates. Now, if we move it back, much bigger length here to get it through the gates, which makes it much more difficult to get it through those truth gates. So the way it's set up right now, it has a couple of strings here. The strings are for eye line. One of the things that I see some of my students struggle with, especially Gunnar does not, but when they come to see me, is a lot of students, they have a lot of wrist motion. And so when that happens, not only are they losing their access point, but the head of the putter actually comes up really high in the backswing. So to alleviate that, one of the things I can do is you can move these strings up and down on there. When the blue string is low, if someone is doing that and has a lot of hand motion and that putter head is coming up really high, the putter head is going to hit the blue string. So this stops them from doing it. They know that they've done that incorrectly if that putter head hits that blue string. So go ahead, Gunnar, and obviously you're not going to hit this blue string, but it's pretty low to the ground, and if someone did do that, have a lot of hand action, they would hit that blue string. And that's just rock solid right there. Nowhere near the blue string, but for those people who do struggle with that, you're going to hit that, and you're going to know. It's going to give you instant feedback. And that actually, with the sight line on his putter, along with the ball line, he has a line drawn on the putter, on the ball itself. You can't see that either. You know your eye is in the perfect place. Now, putter alignment. You square your putter up to, kind of the device right behind the ball. And then we also have gates here. This is for starting the ball on line. This is just a couple of the things that this device does. Gunnar, why don't you see if you can get it through there? If he does, ball's going to go dead center of the hole. I mean, pretty much just like that. I don't know if we can get any better, too. That was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Way to go. Anyway, this device is great. It does a lot of great things. All right, so I'm going to pull these strings back. And Gunnar, you kind of get in here. One of the things I want to make sure that you're able to do when you set up to it is not see the blue line, the blue string that's in here. So I'm going to pull these back. I'm going to push them back so they're in line right now. So it's just a perfect way now for you to set up. So before you putt, do you see the blue line?
I don't.
Okay, so the string right now is underneath where I'm going to pull that back. He is not able to see that blue string. That means his eye line is in the perfect place.
So the great thing with this is I can set up how I would on the course with no strings, and then I can kind of just test myself on how I did. So let's see how I did. So I did pretty good. I can't see the blue line. That means I'm right on it. And let's make this putt.
So there's different philosophies for putting, and I realize that. I like eye line directly, over the target line. This Truth Trainer was made for those people who want their eye line also could be possibly a little bit inside the line. So these strings right here were made for that. As you saw, it was very easy to put in these strings, take them in, take them out, whatever you want. You could even leave the 4 in and see which one works better for you. So there's also room for strings to be slightly outside the line. You could put all of the strings in to be able to do that as well. Anyway, different philosophies. It's all here in one. You can, depending on where you want your eye line, you can put those strings anywhere you want. Okay, so for those people who want their eye line on just slightly on the inside, if I take this blue line away, you can see the blue line is there. I'm going to put that back. So Gunnar, your eyes would be just slightly inside the line. Yep. But you can leave the other strings there, again, for lining up your putter. So these strings, this one right here is right over the line on the ball and over the actual sight line on the putter. So you can leave those strings in there for that as well. So again, for the people who think that your eyes should be on the inside of the line, they're already there. So you shouldn't see the blue line going down. Okay, the truth gates, we have different settings here. So for your beginners, I can put these on the widest ones with the thinnest gates, the green gates. And for your beginners, you can use this one to start, and it's pretty easy to get it through, but it's a great test for beginners and young juniors to do. And then I can also take these out and put in the red ones, even at the widest part, And again, if you want to test those juniors, if they're getting it through the green gates, or for your intermediate players, it makes it just a little bit tougher with the red ones because they're a little bit wider. But it's at the big setting, the wider setting. And now for the more advanced players, you can start with the green gates at the smaller setting. Pretty difficult to get through. And then for your really advanced players, or the people who think that they're doing obviously really well, you can take these out and put the red ones in. And this is the smallest gap where if you put a ball in there, it barely fits through. It's very difficult. So 4 different settings, from your beginning person that wants to be tested all the way to the real advanced player that uses the smallest width here with the red truth gates. Just nick the left one. But as you can see, Gunnar, it didn't really affect the roll. That's one of the cool things that I see. Unlike if you had a marble there or something like that, these gates don't really affect the roll of the ball.
So when I hit that left gate, I could hear it, I could see it. I didn't have to look up and see if I hit it. I just knew it hit it, heard it, and the ball still rolled in, which was great.
You can gamify this. So this is set on the professional setting right now. If I had the green gates in, set on the widest setting, I can move this ball pad around. This would make it a lot easier. Let's say you wanted to play a game where you have to get, these 3 putts through in order for you to move back a little bit. So I could move it back once you accomplish that goal. Now you've got to get it through from there. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Now I move the pad back a little bit further. The further you move the ball pad back, the more difficult it is to get through the gates. Now you have to get 3 balls through there. Especially for the juniors, this just makes putting fun. Putting can sometimes be a little monotonous when you get out there. This device does everything, man. I'm telling you, you can play games with it. You're working on your stroke. You're making sure your eye alignment is good. All of the things that I cover in my block practice system is on this one device. It's a one size fits all. I love it. And for those juniors that get tired of putting, gamify it. You can make it really fun.
Yeah, so this red gate, it's really, really tight. There is very little margin of error. You gotta hit a really, really good putt to get into this. It's really good for advanced players.
Yeah, beautiful. Another great feature of the trainer is Path Perfector. For people who come to me when they first come to me and they struggle with path, these things are great. Because all I have to do is flip them onto the sides here, fit right on the sides, and then put the ball in here, kind of come in here. Very easy to adjust. You can get them so the putter barely fits in between there. They're very easy to adjust. Just plop them out, tighten them right here. Now, putter fits in there okay, but if Gunnar deviates from that path just a little bit, he's going to hit the side. It's kind of like having guardrails in a way. This is going to perfect the back and through how you want it, and making sure that it's just not, the path is not getting off in some kind of fashion that's going to affect the ball as it rolls through those gates. So go ahead, Gunnar, and get it through there. Make sure you don't hit those guardrails there. Really good. Obviously didn't quite get there, but really good. One of the other features that the guardrails actually does, if I put this on the same side, for those people who do like putting with an arc, you can actually do that with these path perfectors. So right here, I can make this come out, but then push the backside in so it actually arcs in the back. So I can push this in, and it's actually now on an angle where it curves back and through. And you can use it like that. Now these path perfectors are on the same side. The guardrail is more towards the heel of the putter, and you're putting with a little bit of an arc. It goes back straight for about the first, I would say, 4 inches, would you say there, Gunnar?
Yeah.
And then it arcs inside, kind of what you want to look for in a stroke itself. And then I would say the 4 inches on either side of the ball itself should be pretty much dead straight back, face angle and path, but then it just kind of goes a little bit inside. And as it goes through, same thing. Really like this feature a lot. And that was excellent right there. Really good. Love that. Love that. So yeah, so when we're talking about, the arc of the putter here, again, the 4 inches on either side of the ball, face angle and path should be pretty square to the line. That shouldn't move. Remember, you're trying to keep your access point with the butt end of your putter. So when you putt, those first 4 inches should be pretty much dead square to the line and face angle. As you go back further, it opens up slightly. Now, this is external constraints right here. This is the only arc in the world, the only arc training aid in the world where you're able to adjust the arc right here. So I can adjust this to make sure that those 8 inches are dead square to the line. And then going back just a little bit further, I can make sure that acting as a guardrail, you can feel that going just slightly inside in the backswing and then slightly inside on the follow through. Mainly because, again, you're just keeping your access point right here. Let's try that. Go ahead and do that. So again, the first 4 inches in the backswing, dead square to the line. 4 inches in the follow through, dead square to the line. That's just pure. Okay, so another thing that I always see my students struggle with when they first come to see me is the actual shape of the stroke. The new revolution in putting is having a longer backswing with a shorter follow through. We've proven that this puts the best roll on the ball. So, this device right here, when you put the path perfectors on one side, obviously the side closest to the heel of your putter, I'm going to put these swing guides in to make sure that Gunnar's actual shape of stroke is really good. So I put the shorter one in the front here, and I'll put it in like that. The longer one almost all the way back. So as you can see, if Gunnar makes too big of a backstroke, he's going to hit the swing guide in the back, and if he makes too long of a follow through, he's going to hit the swing guide in the front. Again, these are like guardrails. These swing guides are like guardrails for shape of stroke. It really tells everything. Let's try this, Gunnar. Go ahead. So remember, we've always talked about longer backswing, shorter follow through. Puts the best roll on the ball. You're going to just see this ball roll end over end just perfectly. So he clipped the front swing guide just a little bit, but still ball rolled beautifully there. And this is something that you can add again. This is a one-stop shop here. This is just such a good trainer. All right, so now one of the things that I see some of my students struggle with when they first come to me is where your feet are supposed to be. What width should they be? And basically, it's shoulder width apart. I see some people putt with real narrow feet, but for the most part, I just want your feet to be basically shoulder width. One of the things that this trainer does again is, go ahead and take your setup, Gunnar. I can put swing guides in now. So not only do we have swing guides in here for shape of stroke, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, that looks pretty good, Gunnar. I'm going to put these swing guides in this way. For Gunnar to know that his feet needs to fit right inside. He's on right there. So every time he knows the perfect width apart with these swing guides, these external constraints, these swing guides are there. You can actually hear it if you make, if you hit one of them. Lining your feet up obviously is right there. You can look at that before you actually make your stroke. But these external constraints of the shape of stroke, you'll know if you hit one. You'll hear it. You don't actually have to look, on the mats of today, well, I got to take it back this far. you know, and then I have to have this far in the follow through. You actually would have to look at it to see, are you really taking it back to, you know, number 4, if that's where you want to go to? You'd have to look and see. Or, yeah, this is just an easy way to do it. Again, this is just making life easier. All right, let's go ahead, Gunnar. Let's see if we can make this happen. So, yeah, lined up perfect there with the feet. Great. Perfect. I think you just nicked the front gate there for a shape of stroke. Actually, still a great stroke, but, you know, just nicked